What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we're doing the edge rushers for the New York Giants, part of the positional previews for the New York Giants in the 2018 season. As you guys know, the Giants are switching to a 3-4 defense. It means defensive ends can become linebackers and so on and so forth. So things change, like Olivier Vernon went from a 4-3 defensive end to a 3-4 outside linebacker. And you're going to see changes like that. You're going to see a lot of players become hybrid players, whether that be, a player moving from outside linebacker to inside linebacker in the 3-4, or a defensive end to a linebacker in the 3-4. So we're going to get onto the edge rushers. We're going to be discussing some defensive ends. We're going to be discussing some linebackers as well. Inside linebackers will be in another video. I'm going to do that separate. It might be a short video because there's not many inside linebackers to talk about. We got a couple in mind, but there's not much competition there at inside linebacker. But I really want to get into these edge rushers, so let's get right into it. First off, we have at defensive ends. We're going to go after the defensive ends, and we have Kareem Martin. I have him listed right now as the starter. I know James Bettcher has him as the starter. In the 3-4 as the defensive end, but I don't know. I'm seeing a bunch of other depth charts and stuff like that saying that Kareem Martin should be the starter. That is the starter. I don't know how that's going to go yet. I don't know if Kareem Martin's going to be listed as a defensive end or a linebacker. I don't know how that's going to work because we do have Lorenzo Carter there at the other linebacker spot across from Olivier Vernon. But as far as Kareem Martin goes, he's a 3-4 defensive end, in my opinion, in the scheme that, as far as the personnel fit goes, I think he more so fits the defensive end role in our defense. But who knows how that's going to play out first. Kareem Martin right now, I have him as a defensive end. I think he's getting paid about $7 million a year. That's pretty much like starter money right there. He's getting paid 3 years, $21 million. So yeah, that's roughly around $7 million. It is $7 million, but I don't know how the exact numbers are. So $7 million is starter money right there, in my opinion. So he should be getting a pretty big role, whether that be, like I said, at linebacker or defensive end. I don't know how that's going to work out yet. But Kareem Martin right now, I do have the starter at defensive end. We now move on to Kerry Wynn, who is listed as a defensive end, but again he's listed as a linebacker defensive end hybrid. He can do both, in my opinion. So we'll see how Kerry Wynn goes. James Bettcher does speak highly of Kerry Wynn, saying that he had a good offseason, so on and so forth. So I do think Kerry Wynn will get another role here. I think he'll make the roster once again, but I don't know how much playing time he's going to get because of these young guys coming in as well, and they should be impressing, like R.J. McIntosh and B.J. Hill. So we now move on to the guy we've all been waiting for right now, and we're all waiting to see. That's B.J. Hill, our draftee in the 3rd round this year. I'm very excited to see B.J. Hill. Hopefully he can become the starter. I would like to see him a starter. I want to see these guys that we drafted become the starter. Not to say anything bad about Kareem Martin or anything, but I think B.J. Hill, in my opinion, I would just like to see him as a starter. 95 on that left end, or right end if you do it backwards. Yeah, right end, across from the left tackle. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, I hope he becomes a starter. Kareem Martin and B.J. Hill will duke it out there. I think Kerry Wynn is pretty much locked to not be the starter. I think he's just going to be another rotational player. But B.J. Hill, hopefully he becomes a starter. Like I said, James Bettcher is speaking highly of these players, especially these young guys as well. B.J. Hill, he really likes B.J. Hill, but like I said, like he said before, that they need to start wearing the pads on, see where they're really at on that defense. They don't wear pads just yet. We'll get into that later on in the training camp and stuff like that. But we'll see how B.J. Hill performs. We now move on to the Sam linebackers, the strong side linebackers. We got Olivier Vernon. He's going to be moving from defensive end to linebacker. He's going to be lined up, where the tight ends are, of course, and he's going to be on that edge rushing. I don't know if he's going to do any pass coverage. Don't know if he's going to be doing that. I know he did do that last year, even in the 4-3. I remember a specific play in the preseason with the Cleveland Browns. He went out and defended David Njoku and actually did a pretty good job at it. Like I said, don't know if he's going to be doing any pass rushing pass coverage duties, but we'll see what happens from Olivier Vernon. He should be our starter. Don't know if he's going to be the star pass rusher, though. I don't know who's going to lead themselves as that star pass rusher. Olivier Vernon hasn't shown that to me yet as a New York Giant, that he is the star pass rusher. He's a star defensive end in this defense. I don't know who's going to be that guy yet, whether that be him or Lorenzo Carter or somebody else that shows up that can get the job done as that #1 pass rusher, but we'll see what happens there. Here's another guy I'm very excited about, our 5th round selection last year, and that's Avery Moss out of Youngstown State. I really like him. I really like Avery Moss. Last year, he didn't get too much playing time. He started to play more so at the end of the season, and he actually did pretty well in my opinion. He was able to get pressure. He wasn't able to quite get there on the sack because I seen him get juked out plenty of times, too much to count. But he does get pressure. He does force the quarterback out the pocket. He does have the ability to pass rush. So I really like Avery Moss. I really hope he gets more playing time. Want to see him in the preseason. And like I said, you always want to see the guys that you draft do well, whether that be in the 1st round or the 7th round, or whether that be by your old GM and Jerry Reese who drafted him. I don't care who it is. I really just want him to perform. So Avery Moss, we'll see how he does in the preseason. Hopefully we get some a good representation of what he's going to put out on the field in the preseason or in any mini camp highlights that we watch later on. We then move on to Romeo Okwara. He's going to be battling with Avery Moss for that 2nd linebacker spot. And Romeo Okwara, in my opinion, I think he's a very good depth player. You know, he came in when JPP was out about 2 years in a row now, and he's been doing very well at that. I specifically remember him having 2 sacks and a pass breakup while he was in coverage as well. I believe 2 years ago against the Dallas Cowboys when we won that game like 10-7. JPP could not play that game, and Romeo Okwara came in and he did phenomenal, and he was the player of the game that game. So hopefully he does well. I want to see him make the roster as well. He's another good story. I believe he comes from Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. He comes from Notre Dame, and he was undrafted, went straight to us, and made the roster his first year. And you know, he's really making his name known on the New York Giants. I want to see him get more playing time with us. So there's the Sam linebackers right now. We're now going to move on to the weak side linebackers, and you know, they can definitely rotate because it's the 3-4, so they can definitely rotate, whether that be, you know, Romeo Okwara play weak side or strong side. It all just depends. We'll see, because most of these guys are going to pass rush anyway. There's not going to be much of the you know, pass coverage linebackers. You know, they're going to have their set pass coverage linebackers on their specific formation. So weak side linebacker. We now move on to Lorenzo Carter, who we drafted, I believe, 66th overall, correct me if I'm wrong, in this year's draft. Very excited about Lorenzo Carter. Like, he's a 1st round prospect, you know, late 1st round, early 2nd round prospect. Came on during the combine. I mean, he's a freak of nature. Lorenzo Carter sort of reminds me of Leonard Floyd, who is also from Georgia. Long arms, very lanky. A lot of people didn't think he had the ability to pass rush because of their. I mean, they're big, but they're very skinny in that, and doesn't really look like a linebacker. Instead, looks more like a taller cornerback or whatever with their long arms, but they're able to get the job done. Reminds me a lot of Leonard Floyd, and I think he's going to be a star. He could be a star player. I mean, he's destined to play in the 3-4 as a linebacker, so good thing we did move on to the 3-4, so he better has a fit in this defense. And like I said, we'll see if he or Olivier Vernon becomes a star pass rusher on this team. It's not just given to Olivier Vernon. He has not proved himself as the star pass rusher of the team, has not broken 10 sacks in the past 2 years he's been with us, and he's getting paid $17 million a year. So as far as that goes, his position is not safe as the star linebacker or star pass rusher on this defense. So then we move on to Tae Davis. I believe we got him undrafted out of Chattanooga. He's a linebacker out of Chattanooga. A lot of people are saying that, you know, they're pretty hyped about him. I have not seen anything on him. I can't find anything on him, so we'll see what happens with him. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, who do you think is going to start? Who do you think is going to get cut? Who are your favorite linebackers? Your favorite defensive ends? I want to know who are your favorite edge rushers. So, yeah, leave it all in the comments. Inside linebackers will be next time, whenever that video comes out, whether that be tomorrow or Friday. So Follow my gaming channel. Link is in the description. Go ahead and do that. I'm gonna be posting a lot more there as far as E3 goes and stuff like that, and games I'm excited about. And I'll just keep it for that. So this is my sports channel. If you guys are new here, subscribe. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.